welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. 3 reviews up this week, the first of which is MOK Super Space Taxi. Let's see.
That's MOK, not MACH, no matter what it sounds like it maybe ought to be.
Yeah, I'm thinking MOK is the name of the space creature that flies the Super Space Taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not 100% confirmed on that, but your guess is, it's as good a guess as any.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, anyway, so MOK Super Space Taxi. This is a mobile game. I'm gonna be upfront here. This is a mobile game that got ported to Steam. It got ported to PCs, and it shows because this game is I hesitate to use the word platformer because there's not much, platformer ring. There's not much. It's kind of a
side-scrolling thrust vectoring game.
That's a good description for it, actually. Because it's definitely a game that takes its cues from Lunar Lander, as in it's dealing with real physics in spite of the fact that everything here is hand drawn. You're dealing with momentum, inertia, real Newtonian physics here. And
the art style of this game literally looks like I had a friend in like 4th and 5th grade.
Right, yeah.
Who drew this kind of stuff in his notebook.
Yeah. And the premise of the game is actually what it says on the tin. You are flying a super space taxi. You've got to go and pick up a bunch of people, a bunch of different space aliens in each level. And the challenge here is, every time you hit the ground, you take some damage. You take too much damage, your space taxi explodes. This
is a bad thing.
Yes. Never quite figured out how to not take damage when landing, but in most cases that alone isn't going to kill you. It's also worth noting that the amount of damage you take does depend on the velocity and the impact, and also where you hit. Like if you hit the glass bubble, you're going to take more damage than if you hit the bottom of your ship. I do like that attention to detail. The game is divided into 5 worlds, 40 levels. Each level brings to the equation a different gimmick or a new gameplay limiter. That is to say, in World 1, you have unlimited fuel. In World 2, your fuel is limited. Also worth noting, on the PC, this is also where I'm going to note maybe not a flaw, but a peculiarity of the controls. If you're using arrow keys, it uses most of your fuel reserves very quickly. From World 2 on, you're going to have to control this via the mouse because that's the only way you're going to be able to conserve your fuel, I found. And not surprising, that ties into how the controls are, were originally set up. This game was designed for a touchscreen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyway, getting back to the worlds, World 3 introduces traps. World 4 is the cloud world, which you got these pieces of cloud that make you fly off in a random direction very quickly if you hit them. And then there was World 5, which can go fuck off, because that's Spike World. That is where the world is mostly spikes, except for, the places where you need to land. And, oh my god, this game was really not, it gets really challenging when you're dealing with a very clunky by design setup. It's like, honestly, I found the difficulty here to be just too bullshit for its own good. But to each their own. Anyway, let's see. Reward system is your typical mobile fare as well. 3 stars on each level. You are judged by time, and that is the only criterion. So don't worry about damage or anything like that. But this is the first game I've ever experienced where it was easier to get 3 stars on the harder difficulties.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I consistently got 3 stars on the longer levels where you had to pick up multiple passengers, and where really difficult was in the beginning stages where you just had to get to a place and pick up the one. It's like basically the tutorial stages.
So the par time increases faster than the actual amount of time that you think it actually takes to beat the level if you're decent.
Other way around. It's like the par time doesn't really scale. Like it's like they give you too much time on the multiples and too little time with the simples.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I might have said it backwards.
Yeah, I think you did, but yeah. Like I said, that's just odd, and this game apparently comes from England. If I'm going off the accents, very stereotypical Cockney accents, although that could just be affectation. Anyway, your reward for getting stars in the levels is you unlock more space aliens. The space aliens that show up to be picked up to 20 skins can be unlocked.
Do they behave differently, or are they just...
No, they're just skins.
Okay.
It's a pure cosmetic reward, so if you feel like going for them, fine. I did not because, like I said, there's no real value to doing that. And all in all, this game is also very short. You'll probably be getting through in about 2 to 3 hours, even with the spikes. As befitting, once again, and each level is very short in and of itself. Like total mobile design philosophy going on here. And yeah, I suppose that gets to price. This game clocks in at $5 for Steam and $2 for iOS. I'm going to say this game is worth $2. $5, no. It's like it doesn't have the content or gameplay chops to justify that price. And yeah, it's like this is probably a game you should get on mobile anyway. It's fine on Steam. It's just, it's not really the kind of game. I've mentioned this. It's like, mobile games with a mobile design philosophy, I find shockingly play best on the mobile devices.
Playing the graphing calculator version of Snake on a graphing calculator is a good experience. Playing the graphing calculator version of Snake on a gaming PC is probably kind of overkill.
It can be. It's like it is a. This is more subjective than other fields. But it's like I also understand game design ethos. Call it a consequence of doing this show for 5 years now. But you start to understand certain things. When you've reviewed games and interviewed people. It's like I don't think I could design a game by myself, but I do understand principles. Anyway, so as far as a rating, it's a completely average, fine game for a mobile platform. Maybe a bit below par for, a bit thin for the PC. So, gonna give a marginal thumbs up for the iOS version, and wait for a sale. Also worth noting, we are recording this review. We are recording all the reviews during the summer Steam sale.
Oh, right, that's a thing. I need to look at my wish list.
Yeah.
And then not buy anything because I have a car repair coming up. Grumble, grumble. Sorry.
Well, it's like find the really cheap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this game is not on sale actually. The other games are, but we'll get to those when we get to those. Anyway, that is our review of MOK Super Space Taxi. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we'll be reviewing One Screen Platformer.